Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're tackling a listener question, and this one hits close to home for a lot of folks.
He does, yeah.
Dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, they've heard, like many of us have, that vitamin D can be a real game changer.
Right.
But they want to know the truth. Does it actually make a difference?
It's such a good question and a really common belief.
It is?
We're going to dig into some research to see what the science actually has to say.
Love it. And thankfully, there are resources like Orium's Fit out there making these studies, well, a little less intimidating.
Absolutely. Yeah, they do a fantastic job of breaking down the complicated stuff.
They do.
And making it accessible.
Exactly why we love using them. The study we're diving into today is from the University of Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
Published back in 2020 in BMC Rheumatology, it looks specifically at vitamin D levels in people with early signs of rheumatoid arthritis.
And I got to say, this wasn't just like some small little study that nobody's ever heard of.
Yep.
The University of Birmingham is really well known for their research on inflammation and arthritis.
Yeah.
And even better, the researchers on this one, they teamed up with a large NHS trust.
Oh, wow.
Meaning they had access to a ton of patients and data
That's huge.
from the UK's National Health Service. So it lends a lot of weight to what they found.
Okay, so serious researchers from a top institution and access to this broad patient population.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds pretty solid to me.
Yeah.
What exactly were they hoping to figure out with this study?
So they were really interested in whether low levels of vitamin D,
Okay.
specifically a type called 25-hydroxyvitamin D, were linked to early rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
They wanted to see if those low levels were connected to how bad someone's inflammation was, how bad their symptoms were, and whether they were more likely to develop full-blown rheumatoid arthritis over time.
Got it. So they're looking at vitamin D levels, they're looking at symptom severity, inflammation, and whether things progress over time. That's a lot to unpack.
Yep.
How'd they even go about studying all of that?
Well, they followed 790 people who already had some early signs of arthritis.
Okay.
They did blood tests to measure their vitamin D levels, and then really carefully tracked everyone's symptoms for a whole year.
Wow.
It's a pretty robust study design.
Yeah.
Gives us a lot of data to look at and draw some conclusions from.
790 people for a whole year, blood tests and symptom tracking.
Right.
Talk about dedication.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on the edge of my seat. What'd they find? Did those vitamin D supplements everyone's always talking about, did they live up to the hype?
That is the million-dollar question, right?
It is.
And I think the answer might surprise you.
Okay.
They actually found no strong link between vitamin D levels and any of those things they were looking at.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me it didn't matter if someone had low vitamin D or high vitamin D.
Yeah.
Their arthritis symptoms, the inflammation, their chances of developing full-blown RA were all basically the same.
That's exactly what this research seems to suggest.
Really?
It really challenges that popular belief that not having enough vitamin D is what causes or makes rheumatoid arthritis worse.
Wow. That is surprising.
Yeah.
Did the researchers offer any explanations for this?
Yeah, it's a great question and one they definitely explored further.
Okay.
They actually dove into the data to see if maybe there were any like subtle patterns or like subgroups
Right.
where vitamin D might be playing a role.
Okay, so they didn't just like take the initial findings and call it a day.
Oh, nope.
They dug deeper. What did they find?
Well, they found that the average vitamin D levels were almost exactly the same between people who had arthritis and people who didn't.
Oh, wow.
Both groups averaged around 46 to 51 nanograms per milliliter,
Okay.
which is just how they measure these things.
So two people could walk into a doctor's office, one with arthritis, one without, and their vitamin D levels could be practically identical.
That's exactly what the study's suggesting, yeah. And here's another interesting thing. They noticed people naturally had higher vitamin D levels in the summer. Makes sense, right? More sun exposure.
Sure.
But guess what? That didn't change their arthritis risk at all.
So even with the higher levels from being out in the sun more, it didn't make a difference?
Nope, not according to this study.
Okay, you are really challenging my assumptions here.
Yes.
It seems like maybe our intuition about vitamin D and arthritis is just wrong.
And that's the great thing about good research.
Yeah,
It
but-
makes us question what we think we know
Right.
and look at the evidence with fresh eyes.
Definitely making me rethink things. I'm sure our listeners feeling the same way. But before we get into what all this means for them,
Yeah.
I think we need to look at some of the specifics from the study.
Yeah, I agree.
Because numbers can sometimes feel a bit abstract.
They can.
Let's break them down, make
Yeah.
them real.
Let's do that. Data is only powerful if you understand what it's telling you, right?
Absolutely.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get into some of the specific data points from this study
Yeah. Let's do it.
to really understand how thorough this research was.
Right. Because sometimes those numbers can feel a little overwhelming.
They can.
But that's also where those real insights are, you
Oh,
know?
absolutely. Remember, they followed 790 people with early signs of arthritis,
Right.
and 335 of those folks had already been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
So they compared the vitamin D levels in those 335 people to the severity of their symptoms, things like pain, stiffness, swelling,
Yeah.
and they didn't find a connection.
So someone with low vitamin D wasn't necessarily having more pain or stiffness than someone with higher levels?
Exactly. It challenges that assumption,
Right.
that low vitamin D means worse symptoms.
Makes sense.
And remember, their average vitamin D levels were pretty similar to the group without arthritis, hovering around that 46 to 51 nanograms per milliliter range.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Like our listener said, they've heard so much about vitamin D being this miracle cure. This research suggests it might not be the be-all, end-all solution.
Right. And it's not to say that vitamin D is useless.
Right.
It's still super important for bone health, for your immune system to work properly.
Of course, yeah.
For overall well-being.
Sure.
But it might not be the one thing that's going to fix your arthritis.
Right. So it's important to get enough, but maybe not pin all our hopes on it.
Exactly. And I think what's cool about this study is it encourages us to think bigger.
Yeah.
To consider other factors that play a role in managing rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay, I'm all ears. If vitamin D might not be the sole solution, what are those other things people can do to really make a difference?
Well, first and foremost, staying active.
Okay, I've heard that before. But I gotta be honest. When my joints are aching, the last thing I want to do is move around.
Oh, I totally get it. But here's the thing. Even gentle movements like stretching, walking, swimming can make a big difference.
Really?
Really. It's about finding activities that you actually enjoy, that you can stick with even when your symptoms are flaring up.
So it's not about pushing yourself to the limit when you're in pain.
Definitely not. It's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Listening to your body and gradually increasing your activity as you feel able.
That makes sense. Are there any specific types of exercise that are good for people with rheumatoid arthritis?
There are. Things like yoga, tai chi, water aerobics are often recommended because they're low impact and they're gentle on the joints.
Right.
They can help improve your flexibility, your strength, range of motion, all without putting too much stress on your body.
I've actually been meaning to try yoga. Maybe this is the push I needed to finally sign up for a class.
I highly encourage it. It's a wonderful way to connect with your body, reduce stress,
Yeah.
and maybe even ease some of those arthritis symptoms.
Okay, so we've got exercise. What about diet? I know what I eat affects my overall health, but does it really matter when it comes to arthritis?
Absolutely. A balanced diet full of anti-inflammatory foods can be huge. Think leafy greens, colorful fruits, nuts, healthy fats like olive oil and avocado.
So those trendy smoothie bowls I see all over social media might actually be doing some good.
They could be, yeah, as long as they're packed with those nutrient-rich ingredients we just talked about.
Okay.
And on the flip side, cutting back on processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats is important.
Right.
Those can actually worsen inflammation in the body.
Yeah, it's all about finding that balance, right? Enjoying treats here and there, but making sure the foundation of your diet is strong.
Exactly. And speaking of things that can impact inflammation, let's not forget about stress management.
Oh, stress is a silent killer. I know it affects my mood, my sleep, but how does it tie into arthritis?
Well, when your body's under chronic stress, it releases hormones that can actually trigger inflammation.
So it's like a vicious cycle.
It is.
Stress worsens arthritis symptoms.
Yeah.
Then dealing with those symptoms causes more stress.
Exactly. That's why finding healthy ways to manage stress is crucial for people with rheumatoid arthritis.
Right.
Things like meditation, deep breathing exercises, or even just spending time in nature can work wonders.
Even taking a few minutes each day to just sit quietly, focus on my breath, it can make a difference.
Yeah. It's amazing how powerful those small moments of stillness can be. And this brings us back to something we talked about earlier, the importance of staying curious and being open to trying new things.
Right. Sometimes we get so stuck in our routines, we think, well, I've tried everything, nothing works.
Yeah.
But there might be approaches we haven't even considered yet.
Exactly. And that's where places like Orium's Fit can be so valuable.
I was just thinking that. Their website's like this treasure trove of information on different health approaches and the latest research.
Exactly. They might introduce you to a new dietary strategy or an exercise technique or a stress reduction practice you've never heard of.
It's like opening a door to a whole world of possibilities.
It is, and who knows, you might find something that totally transforms your health journey in a way you never imagined. Remember, there's always hope for better health and well-being. And speaking of hope, let's shift gears and talk about some of the really promising areas of research that are giving scientists and people with RA a reason to be optimistic about the future.
We're back for the final part of our deep dive on vitamin D and rheumatoid arthritis.
We are.
It has been such a fascinating journey with some surprising twists and turns along the way.
It really has, yeah. We started out thinking, oh, vitamin D, it's a magic bullet for RA.
Right, right.
But then this research really challenged that idea.
It did shake things up.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's so cool about science. It makes us question and learn and, well, evolve our understanding, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of evolving understanding, there are some really exciting developments in RA research that give us a lot of hope for the future.
Okay, I am all ears. Tell me about these promising avenues of research. What's got scientists feeling optimistic?
Well, one area that's getting a lot of attention is personalized medicine.
Oh, interesting.
Researchers are starting to realize that RA is not one size fits all.
Right, makes sense. Everyone experiences it differently. What works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly. So instead of looking for that single cure that's going to work for everyone, scientists are trying to figure out how to tailor treatments to each individual person.
So how does that work in practice? What kind of things are they taking into account when they're trying to personalize these treatments?
They're looking at everything: genetics, lifestyle, the specific type of RA someone has, how severe it is, all of it.
So it's like they're putting together a puzzle, gathering all these pieces of information about a person's unique situation to create a treatment plan that's just for them.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And the more we learn about RA, the better those personalized plans will be.
It's like becoming your own health detective, working with your doctor to uncover clues and create a personalized roadmap to better health.
I love that analogy. And it ties in perfectly with something we've been talking about throughout this whole deep dive: staying curious and open to new possibilities.
Right. Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge those assumptions we all have, and explore different approaches until you find what works best for you.
Absolutely. And who knows, one of those new things might be the key to unlocking better health and well-being. Like we said earlier, resources like Orium's Fit can be so helpful for finding those new possibilities.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job curating information and making it easy to understand. It's a great resource for anyone who wants to stay in the loop and explore different approaches to health.
I am completely agree. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Empowering ourselves with knowledge so we can make informed choices about our health.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we wrap up this episode, we want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. If vitamin D isn't the only answer when it comes to managing your arthritis, what other factors might be at play in your life? What else could you explore that might make a difference? Remember, there's always hope for better health and well-being.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep advocating for yourself.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. Until next time, stay curious.